I'm using a camera and microphone input that I've never used before, so I'm not sure if it will work. So let me check YouTube here. The delay, see if I can hear myself. Seems very quiet. Very quiet. Check, check. Your gain. Probably should have done this before hitting stream. What I'm going to do right now, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check. 1, 2. Check, check. Talking into the camera here. Okay. It's probably pretty quiet, but anyway, here, I was just going to do a quick patch breakdown of this Clocktober patch before I break it apart, because I will forget what I did otherwise. But everything is happening through the Divide and Conquer, which I just built, clock divider by nonlinear circuits. It is being driven by the square output of this Doepfer A145-4 LFO, going pretty fast. So that LFO is clocking the clock divider, and then the clock divider is going into vice versa, which is a 8-channel switch. So it's going into all 8 channels, just various divisions going in there, and then the outputs from that are going and doing different things. And the thing about the vice versa is it will switch it'll switch. Still streaming, yes. All right, so it'll switch, the inputs and the outputs, and right now I have it set to, it could do it sequentially. You can do it in pairs of 2, or 4 and 4, or all 8. Right now I have it set so all 8 are switching, and it's doing a sort of a random swap. So any input could go to any output, and there could be doubles, there could be mutes. So it's totally random what happens when you hit advance. So you could hit advance. The select here, WMD select, I have it so I can switch on or off whether the advance is automatic, and that's coming out of one of these slower divisions on the Divide and Conquer. So it'll just automatically switch at a regular interval. If I don't do anything, or if there's some pattern that I really like and I just want to stay on that for a little while, I can throw the select and it will stay in that pattern for a bit. 3 of the outputs from the Divide and Conquer, which are going through the vice versa, are going into the WMD 410, a 10 attenuator here. So these sliders here on the bottom, these attenuators, are attenuating 3 of the different clocks, which are their gates with 50% on, 50% off. So as you can see here, it's on or off, and it's not going at a regular pattern. Those are going into helium, so they're being added together, those voltages. And then from those being added together, then it's going through the 4th channel of the 410, so that it can limit the entire range that's being covered to a reasonable, pitch range, as opposed to going all over the place. And then that is going into ornament and crime, getting quantized. Right now it's Phrygian mode. And so then that is going into one of the VCOs, which is an AI 011 VCO, standard 3340 VCO. And then the other one, the pitch is going through the select, which is a sample and hold, and then going into the other VCO, or second VCO. And then that pitch, the sample rate, whenever it's being sampled, is one of the vice versa outputs. So that's one of the clock divisions that gets swapped up randomly. Coming out of here, coming out of these 2 VCOs, they are going into the AI 007 quad VCA, and then from there into, what's it doing? Yeah, and then those envelopes are being generated by 2 channels of maths, which again are coming from the vice versa. So those are random intervals triggering the channels 1 and 4. And then the AI 007 is going into this stereo mixer, which is a dope-for stereo mixer, so that can control pan. It's mono in, you can pan left and right. And then that's going into Mimeophone. I had some other things going into that, but they're not patched right now, so it's only those voices going into Mimeophone. Mimeophone has a very slight rate fluctuation on one of the slower LFOs, so that you get a warble, which is more noticeable when you go into higher zones, which I did later on in the patch, but it started out at a slower standard delay rate, so not doing a lot there. Then there's other stuff happening. What else? There's another wave shape coming out of one of these VCOs, going through the Music Thing drive and the OTA filter, which, so I can turn this up, this big knob, very satisfying, so you get wah, and then that's not, the envelope is just steady, and you can hear the pitch, the more active pitch changing with that one. And it's getting distorted, and then it's going into the matrix mixer here, which is then going into left and right is just coming into the final mix, or submix, and that is also the third channel of that is also going into the Akari. So you can turn up either this VCO or this VCO, which is the third VCO, and it's just sync coming from the second VCO, so it's pretty gnarly, and then it's being synced and then wave folded, and then goes into Carbon for even more mangling, and then from the Carbon envelope is being generated by Javelin, which is random stuff, and then that is going into the 24 dB steep ladder is going into the matrix mixer, which can then go to the final mix or Akari for some more, like that's just getting folded left and right, folded, distorted, all sorts of stuff, and then even more distortion and resonance and all that. That goes into the submix here, and then the submix finally goes into beads, which is mostly doing reverb, and then sometimes it's doing delay and nice beads, cloud stuff. I think that's mostly it. Oh, and then one other thing is of course, this is the Templigio noise engineering, so it's a boom, 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 which is, again, one of the voice Virga, the beats coming out of there. So it can either be a regular beat, even though it's random, but it's regular, or I can switch between that, and then the Ordinary Crime second channel of Hemispheres is a trigger sequencer, so then that gives it more interesting rhythm into that, and then the pitch of that is coming from the sample and hold, only it's the not the sample and hold, the trigger and hold, so that it's, but that's being attenuated, so either there's no pitch change or else just a little bit of pitch change. And then that's going into the submix. That's the whole patch. And it was cool. It was just all clock-based for Clocktober. So... Oh yeah, the other thing I forgot to say is that the low-pass gate is another one of these voices going into that. That's the one that's being sampled and held, and it is on the LFO, so it's going wow at regular intervals. Let's see. So this is all the pitch is all down right now. Turn. This is all the way down here. Where's this one? Oh, the last thing, the voice going into the OTA filter here is a square wave, which is being another one of the LFOs, I think, is modulating the width of the pulse width. All right, thanks.